Hey, this is Chris from GuitArmy, and in today's guitar tip, I'm going to be talking about a couple different ways you can develop your legato. Last week on YouTube, someone watched one of my guitar tips and said, hey, would it be possible if you did kind of a lesson or some instruction on how to develop legato? So that's what we're going to be doing here today. Let's go ahead and get a closer look at the neck. So as I'm describing how to do this, you can see a lot better. So to start, let's talk about what legato is. Legato is basically tying notes together. And on guitar, what that means is typically this sound. So I'm playing things smoothly. I'm doing hammer-ons, I'm doing pull-offs, and I'm not using my picking hand. So I think for guitar players, that's the main thing, is you're playing quickly and smoothly without picking all the notes. All right, so let's take a look at some things. The first thing right off the bat is I would do this to start developing your physical skills. I would do this. I would basically practice hammer-ons and pull-offs. And I would do that for each finger. And what I would do is basically practice each one. And if you have the time, especially if you're a beginner or an intermediate player, go ahead and play these until your fingers can't do them anymore. Just keep doing this. It's basically a strength training exercise for your fingers. And that's going to help give you the ability to do this. So now that you've done some workout and worked on your strength, I would start doing these types of exercises. So on any string in any scale at any given time, the scale is going to probably go this pattern here, this pattern, or this pattern here. Basically where you have a half step and then a whole step, and then two whole steps, and then a whole step and a half step. They're the three main scale fingerings that you're going to run across on the guitar. So the first one we're going to take a look at, and what we're going to have you do is we're going to have you hammer down, basically going up. And you don't have to do these at any speed. You can do them nice and slow. I'm hammering every time I go back to the 5th fret here. And then I'm hammering on 6 and 8 here. We can do the opposite. We can pick from our pinky here and then pull off. Now, I will do this. This is with picking 8. But really, I think you can probably just not even pick 8. You just have to get used to hammering your pinky down hard enough so that you can hammer down here 8 and then pull off the other 2. So basically what you're doing is you're practicing going up. Well, let's change the first one where we're going to go up and then we're going to pull off to go back down. And like, this doesn't really matter how fast or slow you go. So if you're a true beginner, you can do it nice and slow. All right, the next one is going to be, we're going to go up 2 whole steps. And where that would occur is in a major scale. If you're going, this was the root. If we're in A, this would be the root, the 2nd and 3rd. It's where you have 2 whole steps in a row. Or it could be in a major scale if this was the 5th, 6th, and then the 7th. All right, so I would do the same thing where I'm kind of going up and coming back down. The only time I'm picking is the very first note. All right, and then the third one is where we're going up a whole step and then a half step. So they're the 3 main patterns, and you don't have to just play them on strings 1. You can. you want to practice them on all 6 strings because the strings have different thicknesses and it takes more strength to play down here on these wound strings. So they're the 3 main picking patterns that I would practice. Now let's go ahead and take a look at how you can practice a major and minor scale with this legato. All right, first we're going to start with a major scale. I'm going to show you how to basically practice legato using 3 notes per string for 2 major scale positions. So if I was in A, this would be the root right here. And I would probably start with the 7th here, and I would go. And what I'm doing is I'm plucking the lowest note and then hammering on the next 2. So this is one way to do it. You could come back. So you want to go up and back, and it's up to you. You could do a couple of these per string. It's kind of up to you whatever pattern you want to create. All right, so that's one way to do kind of the first position. You can do an A major scale like this as well. If you go a little faster. It's a lot of fun, and so if you don't know any of these patterns, what I'll do is I'll put a link down below where how to get the charts. I will do 3 notes per string patterns for, I guess I'll do all A major, all the A major scale all over the neck using 3 notes per string, the different positions, and then I'll also do minor as well. That way you get a lot of charts things to practice your legato on. All right, and if you wanted to play an A minor scale using 3 notes per string, practicing legato, you could start right here. Coming back. And the fun of doing this is it allows you to play basically smoother. Not necessarily faster, but it does have a smoother sound. So if you're kind of stuck always picking things and you just want it to sound smoother, the legato is a lot of fun. I like to practice legato. You could do this just going up 1 string. If I was going to do, say, A minor. This is the root, 2nd and flat 3rd. And then I go up to the next 3 notes in the scale, or basically work my way up the scale. I'm doing these 3. Then I'm doing 2, flat 3 and 4. Then flat 3, 4, and 5. I'm just telling you the intervals in the scale, so you can kind of go. And so on and so forth. Work your way up. I feel like I kind of wanted to end it there. So that's another way you can practice, kind of doing the legato up and down, in any individual string in any key. So really, it's kind of limitless what you can practice. But bottom line is you have to get these hands moving and this hand not moving. So as a beginner intermediate player, you really have to work on the strength to build that up. But you don't have to be in any hurry. So take your time. Your hands doing this, your hands will tire pretty quickly unless you've been playing guitar a long time. But it's a really cool sound that most guitar players want to be able to do. So that's my thoughts on how to practice some legato. Thanks for taking the time to check out this guitar tip on legato. If you enjoyed this lesson, consider subscribing to the channel, or maybe even subscribe to the playlist or follow the playlist, however it works. That way you kind of keep getting updated when I get new ones. Make sure you ring that bell as well, and I will see you in the next guitar lesson.